Hello, hello. We will continue wait functions. Uh, First, we need to check it the macros used with respect to the wait functions here. Uh, the first one, wait if exited. That stands for wait if exited. What is the description of that one? True if status was written for a child that is terminated normally. In this case, we can execute exit status to fetch a lower order 8 bits. To fetch the lower order 8 bits of the argument that child passed to exit, either underscore exit or underscore capital exit. So what we can say that with respect to this macro is that if the child is terminated normally, then this macro will be executed. The second one, wait if signal. True if status was written for child that is terminated abnormally by receipt of the signal that did not catch. So in this case, we are executing the one wait terminal signal status to fetch the signal number that caused the termination. Means the child is terminated but in abnormal way. Means we terminated the child. Now with respect to that one, we are fetching the details like signal number and what is the resources used by that particular process, that will be we are fetching. Next, stopped, wait if stopped. So in this case, the process is not terminated. Rather than that, just we stop the execution, that is pause. True if the status was written for a child that is currently stopped. So in this case, we can execute W stop signal. Just we are fetching the signal number that caused the child process to stop. Okay. Then one more macros we are using, wait if continues. True if status was written for child that has been continued after job control stop. Means there is a one concept in Unix environment, job control. So job control is nothing but we are allowing the multiple processes from single terminal in which one process group is running in the foreground and remaining processes or process groups are running in the background. So if that is the case, then the last macro will be executed, that is wait if continued. So this is the program how we can avoid the zombie process by calling the fork API twice. I think we already discussed about what do you mean by zombie process. Means a particular child process, for particular child process the parent is not waited for it. In that case, the child is entering the zombie state. So in this case, we are creating the one child process by calling the fork API. Then we are allowing the first child to be continued. Next, once again the first child will become the parent for another child. In this case, once again we are calling the fork. Else if PID is greater than 0, that means whatever the first child is there. Say for example, I'll take the one example, it is clear. A is a parent, then A is creating the one child B. B is a now parent for child C. Now we are allowing the process B to execute. So in this case, we are executing the exit of 0. Nothing but it is the first child. It is the first child of the parent A. So now we are now the second child C. For second child C, we are finding who is the parent for that. So in this case, otherwise it will become the zombie state. To avoid that, we are calling the sleep function for a moment. Then in that case, we are printing the second child details. Then we are terminating. Next, we are calling the wait PID. Nothing but original process A is waiting for the first child, that is a B. It is already terminated. Okay. Now the init process will become, okay, init process will become the parent for the second child, nothing but for process C. So in this way we can avoid any process become the zombie here by calling the fork API twice. Then wait3 and wait4 functions. The only feature provided by these two functions that is not provided by the wait and wait PID. Okay. Wait ID and wait PID functions is an additional argument that allows the kernel to return summary of the resources used by the terminated process. Means by using these two functions, either wait3 or wait4, we can get the details like what are the resources used by the terminated process. Say for example, if process B is already terminated, but what are the resources it is used? The resource information includes such as the statistics, amount of the user CPU time, amount of system time CPU time, number of page faults, number of signals received, like this. How this kind of the details will be fetched. But the one point you keep in mind, wait3 is working just like wait4 is working just like wait PID, what I already discussed. Okay, so that we need to keep in mind here. Next one, race conditions. Here race condition is nothing but when the multiple processes are trying to do something with the shared data, but the final outcome depends on the order in which processes run here. Means whether the child is first, whether the parent is first, whatever the order they are executing, according to that we are getting the output. This is the one simple program as I have taken here. Under this we are creating the child process once again by calling the fork API. Then we are allowing first child to execute. Okay. In that case again we are character at a time. This is the function we are calling. Just we can find it. This is the function. Here also we are calling the functions. Then we are terminating. We'll see that what is the function, how it works here. This is simple function with the character at a time. Like the string what we are passing is that output from child, output from parent, but we don't know exactly the output from parent child will be executed or output from parent that text will be executed. It depends on the system here. So sometimes we can get the output like this: one O from child, one O from parent, U from child, T from parent, like this. We are getting the random output. It is not the sequential output here. The reason is that both the parent and child process are common in the sharing the common resource here. Let's see that the second line also from the parent side it is executing like this. Okay, it depends. If I run once again the same program, again we may getting the different output. One line we checking child, one line we checking from the parent here. Okay, but what we need to understand is that in this case, if suppose there is a race condition, just a race condition is nothing but it is a computation exists between the two processes. Okay, so how the computation is, assume that you are there is a running race has been taken place between four players. In that case we will decide who is the first, then who is run the first, like that. So here also who run the first, then who run the second, maybe the run first is taking the once again time. We can avoid the race conditions by using some macros like tell wait. So, this tell wait is nothing but it is allowing the processes to make the process synchronization, make the communication between one process to another process. Now in this case we are allowing the PID, I mean the parent process we are creating the one child process, then we are allowing the child to execute. Here wait parent means this is the communication we are giving for the child. Currently parent is executing, I need to wait it, nothing but the child should wait it until the parent should complete a task. Just here as I am adding the one statement, tell child, nothing but parent is executing, after completion its task it is sending the message to a particular child that I have completed my task, now we can start it. Okay, so this way we can make the communication by using wait parent and tell child, it is reverse is also possible. That is, in this case here, tell parent, and above this statement I need to include the wait child exactly here. That means we are allowing the child to execute first, then parent to be executed next. So this is the concept of the process synchronization. Again, this is the same function what I used earlier. Okay, so just we are getting the output in synchronization manner. Just we are fetching the character by character. The same thing we are putting on the screen. Okay, so by using these conditions, like tell wait parent, tell child, and one more wait child, tell parent. So this way we can use these macros to make the process synchronization. So we will continue in the next video.